Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. Since we just did a TBR video of all of my physical TBR going into 2026, I figured I would go through all of my physical TBR and see what books I have on there that I anticipate giving a 5-star to. Obviously, I don't know if I'm going to. These are all just my casual predictions. I'm sure a lot of these are not going to be a 5-star and I'm just pretending like they are going to be. But if any of these I have hope for being a 5-star on my shelf, it's gonna be these. So I just went through and quickly pulled all the ones off that I thought might be or gonna be the closest to being a 5-star. So we're gonna go over all those. We're gonna see which ones I think are gonna be a 5-star on my bookshelf. Starting off, obviously, I think Throne of Glass is gonna be a 5-star. I don't know what world I would be living in if I didn't give this a 5-star, or at least if I didn't think that it was going to be a 5-star. Pretty obvious, I loved ACOTAR, and so I think that this one is probably going to be that much better. Just a really big, juicy, long series. I think I'm going to absolutely eat that up. At least I'm hoping that I do. So I do have this one as my first up and probably the most promising book that I have on this list of actually being a 5-star. Next, I have another fantasy book, which is The Adventures of Amina El Sarafe. I think that this one has pretty good potential to be a 5-star. The cover of this is just absolutely precious. I love the cover of this book. I love the way that it looks. And just something about this giant octopus on a ship in the ocean visual that we are getting definitely makes me think that this is going to be a really good one. Something about an adventure like this, just I want this. I want to go ahead and read it, but I don't have it on my upcoming TBR, so we'll see if I get to reading that one anytime soon. But very eager for this one, and I do think that this one has pretty good 5-star potential. Next, I have Billy Summers by Stephen King. I like Stephen King books. I just don't think I've read enough to really get a feel for it. I think that the way that he writes is a little bit more old school. I think he puts a lot more information in the books than what I'm used to. Obviously, as of right now, we're used to kind of 300-page romances that they all have to be summed up relatively quickly. But I think with his books, they really can just go wherever they want to go. There's not like any type of rule that he follows. It's not like I'm actually following any type of set in stone structure, I feel like, or at least the reading experience doesn't make me feel like it's following a specific structure. I'm not like seeing each individual point play out while I'm reading it. If I'm reading a romance, I'm like, okay, here we go, here's the beginning. Now we're kind of reaching the climax. Okay, now we have a third act breakup. This is just like typical. But I feel like with his books, the way that he writes them does not make me feel like that. I'm not like expecting the ball to drop or anything. So I really like the way that he writes. I just have not really gotten a book where I can enjoy it. I read Pet Sematary, but I've also already read the movie. So I think I would enjoy going into a fresh story. So I think that this one might be a good one. It's also not horror, so I think it might be that much better. I don't necessarily love horror sometimes. I like the idea behind it. I've just not ever really seen it executed in a way that I really am looking for it to be. So I think something not super horror or anything like that from him would be really interesting. Hopefully I am able to give this one a 5-star because I'm excited for it as well. I guess most of these are going to be fantasy, but I have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Like, what about this does not look like it's going to be absolutely fantastic? And especially a romance fantasy, a romantasy. I think that this one is going to be heavy on the romance, but still heavy on the fantasy as well. When I think of romantasy, I think of it more of a romance with just some fantasy elements, not necessarily a massive fantasy series or fantasy book that has like these really high stakes or anything like that. And I think that I could see that from this one. Who knows though, but I think with the way that it looks and just the title, everything screams 5 stars. And I'm hoping that that is the case. Next, Voidwalker. I talked about this on my shelf. Absolutely think it looks so good. Just, you can't tell me that she doesn't look so cool. Like, absolutely fantastic. This book looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I need to test that theory out. I've not been super drawn to many of my Illumicrate books, and I think this one, Calling My Name, as well as this one, I think that's saying something. I think that's a sign, and I think that that means that these are gonna be great. Next, I have 2 Emily Henry books, and I am really being optimistic putting these on my list, but I have Great Big Beautiful Life and Funny Story. I've not read either one of these. These are Both the UK covers, I actually always prefer the UK covers for the most part for Emily Henry books. And I think that both of these being orange makes it a good sign. Orange is my favorite color if you didn't know. But I think that it's not gone past me that these are both orange and these are the two books that I have left. And for some reason, I think either one of these look like they're calling my name for a 5-star. Potentially both of them. I don't know anything about them. Every time I see an Emily Henry book though, I just get it. She's just an auto-buy author. So I do already have these. I've not read them, but I have a good faith that these could be a 5-star. It's not going to be something that I'm reading back to back, reading it while I'm kind of in a slump. So I think that reading this just whenever I get the chance, I think that these have potential to be a really good 5-star. The first 3 books that I've read by her, I read them back to back. And I think that really killed it for me because I could very much tell that I was reading Emily Henry books back to back. And then I read Happy Place, but that was kind of like in my book slump, and it also took me like a month to read that one-ish, maybe. So I think reading these just by themselves whenever I feel like it, just when I'm really in the mood, maybe in the spring, getting ready to get into summer, that might be the vibe. But I have high hopes for these for some reason. I think these are going to be 5 out of 5 stars. Hopefully, please tell me in the comments if they are or not. And this time I was actually smart and I saved my paperbacks for last. Next, I have Deep Cuts. This just feels like Daisy Jones and the Six to me. I feel like it's going to be on that same level. Is it? I don't know. It could be, it could not be, but it just, the cover looks great. It just looks like it would be one of those books that I could see having a 5-star next to it on my Goodreads. Next, this is a series that I'm actually really excited to get into, and that is the Shatter Me series. I've not read this. I've not started this one. I should just read this before I get the whole series and just be content with that. But for whatever reason, I don't really want to do that. I will probably end up just reading this one before I get any of the other ones. But I do really think that this series could be fantastic. I feel like it's going to be a 5-star to me. I've been very eager to read this, and it's just been sitting on my shelf, again, because I have been waiting to get the whole entire series. But now, we know I'm trying to be better. I'm trying not to buy the entire series for a book series that I see. So first, we need to start off with this one. If I give this one a 5-star, which I hopefully will, then I can go in and get the rest of the series. And then next, these two are of no surprise. I have been saying that these are going to be 5 stars for literal years now, and one of those is Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. I have had this book on my TBR for such a long time, and I need to read it. I'm telling you, coming up springtime, I will get into this book because I have wanted to read it for so long. It just looks like the perfect springtime book. I want to read it so bad. I need to get to it, and I need to just read it and give it a 5-star. I feel like it's going to be a 5-star. I'm not going to lie, I'm scared that I'm going to read it and it's not going to live up to the hype that I've created for it. I'm scared that I'm not going to give it a 5-star, but I just, come on, it's gotta be a 5-star. And then the last book that I am just praying I can give a 5-star rating to this year is The Stranger in the Lifeboat. I absolutely have wanted to read this book so bad for so long. This book, just the whole concept behind it sounds absolutely insane. I think it's going to just be so thought-provoking and just cause me to question everything and just really think about this book as a whole. I don't think whenever I read books I really think about it for that long, and if I am thinking about it, it's just so hard for me to actually gather thoughts. And this one, I think it's going to be no different. I think that it's going to be great though, and I'm really excited to read it, and I'm really excited to read it and give it a 5 stars. Hopefully I do. Hopefully I do that. I really hope that one of these at least is going to be a 5-star. I have not read a single book this year that I have given a 5-star to. I know that sounds insane. Like, who doesn't go a whole year without rating a book 5 stars? Clearly me. Clearly I do that. Obviously, that being said, hopefully one of these can be a 5-star, so that way I can stop my losing streak. We are losing right now. Not having a 5-star is a loss for me. Not for you, but very much for me. I'm taking an L on that one, and I want one of these, at least one of these, to be a 5-star, so that way we can revive that. I want to get a 5-star. I want to get a book that just absolutely has me smitten, that I never stop thinking about, and I want to reread over and over and over again for the rest of my life. And hopefully one of these is that. Hopefully. I'm really banking on at least Throne of Glass. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I mean, there's no way. But again, these are all the books that I expect to give a 5-star to in 2026. Am I gonna get to all these? Absolutely not. I doubt it. I highly doubt that I will. But I really do think that these are going to be my best shot at a 5-star this coming year. I need a 5-star. I really do. Like, I need it like water. That's what I need so bad. But that's it. That's all I got for you. Let me know if you have read any of these books, and let me know if you have rated them a 5-star or if I'm just completely setting my expectations way too high and I'm not going to enjoy these at all. Let me know what you think, and then also if you have any books on your shelf that you have not read yet but you expect them to 100% be a 5-star, let me know what those are because I could check those out as well. But as always, I greatly appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hopefully will get to see you in the next one tomorrow. See ya!